Namaskar viewers, Anil Kant Choudhary or AKC. I'm back with part 3 of this common basic approach. In this, we are covering the last two items out of the 6. These are jointly working a practical solution and coming up with a implementation plan for those agreed solutions. The other 4 you have already seen as part of previous videos. So with this, we will complete all the 6 common basic approach that helps in addressing any challenging scenario. So when we look at jointly working out a practical solution, there are two tools which are very useful. The first one is brainstorming. Brainstorming is an activity where people come together in a group. They interact. They share their ideas. Some of the ideas are may be good, some may not be good, but at this stage we are not bothered about it. We should actually not be judging any ideas. We should focus more on quantity. The idea should come in spontaneously without any prejudice and all of that. And a few ground rule which normally should be applied when we are talking about brainstorming is to first of all have a sizable number. I mean, you normally don't have a brainstorming of 2-member, 4-member kind of. Try and have a large number of members participating in it, and with varying skill and experience, right? Somebody newcomer, somebody who has been in the system for long, somebody is a technical background, somebody functional background, somebody in a more as operation level. So that all kind of input can come, and allow everybody to share their ideas without any judgment, without any prejudice. That's very important. Aim here is not to kind of find whether this idea is right or not. At this point of time, just collect all those ideas. Allow members to build on somebody else's idea. If somebody has said, we can do this, and somebody says, okay, we can do this, but can we also do this, right? So capture this as a additional thought. So capture on building on the previous members thing. No cross questioning or countering anybody. Even if somebody doesn't agree, we should not kind of say, no, it is not possible or it doesn't seems right. That's not the idea. The idea is to capture all of it. The focus is on quantity, right? Not necessarily on the quality. Very powerful tool. It helps team, feel to be part of it, right? And even if their idea is eventually not accepted, it really gives a good insight to the management that, what are the things people are thinking of, and what they are trying to. So brainstorming is very useful tool from that perspective. Another tool which is called diverging and converging. Now typically here, when we have a much larger team, right, let's say you have some 1,500 members, then doing brainstorming in that big size becomes a little more challenging. So what you do is you make smaller groups, right? Or sometime it could also be that group could be based on that, one architect group, one could be a domain specific group like that, operations group. You can do that also, or you can create a mix of team members, somebody coder, somebody tester, somebody designer, all of that. But the idea is to create different groups, and these groups should be finding out, researching, analyzing, discussing among themselves, and come up with their ideas. Now this stage is called diverging, because each of the group will come up with different kind of ideas. It could be diverging ideas. Once all of that is there, then comes the conversing, where you get all this team together. Now they share their ideas with other groups, right? So each group, and if it is a smaller team, then you can even have it at an individual level. They share their ideas, and then it is shared with rest of the team members, right, in different groups. And then those ideas and suggestions are kind of discussed a little bit more, understood a little bit more. Then comes the conclusion part, where at the end, the set of ideas and suggestions that emerge from this conversing process, that is then taken forward for finding a practical solution, and whether it will be acceptable to everyone, And finally, of course, the final decision is the idea is given in a small group to experts, right? Who can then say, what will be the practical solution for this particular idea. So when you're trying to work a jointly practical solution using your team member in a joint forum, then these two tools are very, very useful. Brainstorming, when you have a smaller team, relatively smaller team, 15-20 member. Diverging and converging, when you have a larger team, let's say 50, 60, something like that, then you break it down into smaller group. Okay, so once you have got the ideas and suggestions, then you need to come up with a practical solution, and that practical solution has to be implemented. So you have to come up with an implementation plan, right? And this implementation plan could be at a yearly level, quarterly level, or monthly level, right? It's always good to have a action at a different milestone. So let's see, as part of this particular case, we have picked up three action points which emerged from that discussion, right? These were targeting the top 2 box to improve by 10%, targeting the net promoter score, again improving by 20 points, and proactively offering members for open needs in existing program. So these were the high level action point which were identified, and there was a timeline kind of given. For example, if you see the first one, target of top 2, the 18 months was given, same for net promoter score. Whereas for proactively offering member, it was agreed that we should offer it after first 3 months. There were certain other things which was happening in the first 3 months, so this should be coming after that. And some ownership was identified, who will own it, who are the people who will support the owner, that's also identified. So these were at a high level. Then each of these actions are broken down to next level. So for example, if you say target top 2 box of 10%, that was broken down at 3 level. First get to 2% increase, then 5% increase, eventually 10% increase. And this was broken down to smaller period of time. So overall target was 18 months. These were broken down to 6 months, 12 months, and eventually 18 months. Similarly, the other two actions are also broken. So this is a way you should come up with an implementation plan, which is first at an overall level and then break it down at a more smaller chunk of time frame. Could be monthly, could be quarterly, 6 monthly, depending on what is more comfortable for the team. So these are the two tools, the common approach which helps. Let's see how it applied in the scenario we talked about. The scenario was related to the strained relationship, and these were the 7 key indicators. The CSAT were bad, the growth was a challenge, margin, and attrition. So for addressing this, we had come up with these key changes to turn it around. I hope you will remember it from series 1 stories when we had talked about it. So these were the key changes which we had implemented, and I have highlighted a few which are in purple here. These were the 3 which came out as an outcome of those brainstorming, and then eventually we created an implementation plan for them. Okay, so I hope you understood how to apply these two common approaches and the 2 tools which I talked about, and hope it will be useful for you. You can reuse them for your project, your engagement, whenever you need. Okay, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. If you have any suggestions, any feedback, do share. My mail ID remains same, connectwithakc@gmail.com. And I wish you all good luck in your project and endeavor. Okay, bye-bye.